So, with Azure being out now, one of the biggest things I've been seeing on TikTok is how 2-time has apparently been nerfed into the ground. Every other video complaining about the nerfs is like, really? They removed the launch of the normal stat? But you know what? Those people on TikTok and YouTube Shorts are wrong! Never have I seen such misinformation since I started Forsaken. Azure release came with a 2-time rework, not a nerf. Throughout this video, I plan to go into detail on how to use 2-time effectively. Let's start by talking about 2-time's abilities, so we have a basic grasp of everything before going into more detail on strategies. Starting with 2-time's Ritual. This is where you respawn if you happen to die with full ablation, is where you can safely turn back to when you've been hurt, assuming you have ablation to heal. Where you place the ritual isn't too important from my experience, but keep in mind where it is when you're close to death, especially when being chased. The last thing you want when respawning is when you respawn right next to the killer to just get one tap. Just be mindful where your ritual is throughout the round and you should be fine. Next up is 2-time's newest ability, Pray. Instead of healing from stabs, now you may spend your oblation to heal by praying by your ritual. This heals at a 2-to-1 ratio based on your oblation's percentage, so the most you can heal from it in one go is 50 health. To get into 2-time's main abilities, I'll start by talking about their crouch. Crouching is the best way to get yourself in position, since it lowers how tall you appear and makes you undetectable. Your movement speed is lowered, however you gain an incremental speed boost up to 35% if you're specifically running towards the killer. This is one of the few abilities you can safely use near as you're stigmatizing Secret Bulb, and then crouching near a killer gives speed 2 for a second. The speed upon uncrouching allows you to safely recover if you happen to have been spotted while you're approaching or waiting in position. Now, for 2-time's most significant ability, their Sacrificial Dagger. Landing this ability from the front basically tickles the killer and gives you around 20% oblation. However, stabbing the killer from behind stuns them for 2 seconds and gives you 40% oblation. This completely halts your movement, so going for a stab is really situational. However, combining this with crouch allows you to do a crouch stab, where you lunge forward with your dagger at the cost of a little bit more end lag and you gain 25% more oblation from your stab, and a backstab stuns for 3.5 seconds instead. This makes the dagger a lot more viable when you're crouching. To summarize 2-time's abilities, 2-time may stab the killer to gain oblation, in which they can use to heal and respawn. However, 2-time must get behind the killer to make themselves a significant assistance to the team. Now, I'm gonna go into strategies that make the best use out of 2-time's abilities. 2-time can't do anything on the front lines, so you should never be on the front lines. For a broad definition, that's basically where the killer is going and actively chasing others. You should always stay in the back, carefully watching. When you're going in, planning to stab the killer, always stay behind corners and walls. This is especially important because when killers don't have anything better to do, they will check their surroundings. Some of the most prominent times for a killer to check their surroundings is when they're far away from their current target or when they're waiting for their stamina to regenerate. You can either wait these periods out or try attacking before the killer gets time to turn around. You can also position yourself better with crouch, as it lets you hide behind things easier with your lowered position. And killers with detection abilities won't see you right after using them, so if they go around a corner, they will assume that they're safe. This also gets into the point that all nooks and crannies are good places to position, as it allows for a place just out of sight from killers. And more often than not, when you're out of sight, you're out of mind for a killer who's in chase. Another important thing to watch out for as 2-time are openings, when a killer makes themselves vulnerable for a short time. Each killer has one of these openings, and they are as follows. For Slasher, right after attacking with Raging Pace. For Cool Kid, right after missing Walk Speed Override or using Pizza Delivery. For John Doe, during and just a moment after using Corrupt Energy. For 1x1, during windups of Entanglement and Mass Infection. For Noli, just after Void Rush and Nova, and during Observant. For Sixer, during Demonic Pursuit windup, or just after using Eviscerate. For Nosferatu, during Bloodhook windup and miss, or just the end lag after missing Ascension. and for edger, during and strangle. These apply for all Sentinels, but it's very important to recognize these moments when you're 100% free to go for a backstab. And in some situations where you can't, a front stab still works just as well for the ablation gain. Another thing to consider is that crouch stab can be used for mobility. It's risky since it has end lag, but if you're sure a killer is far enough or low on stamina, then you can go for it. As I'm sure you've noticed, I haven't mentioned trick stabbing yet. Well, here's my advice. Don't. No matter how many people you see do it on YouTube Shorts, it's simply not worth the risk, and this is especially prevalent with the default Dagger stun only being 2 seconds, along with the lack of healing it does now. The only trick stab I would say is worth going for is a stair stab, and I call it that because it's very similar to the motion that Spy would do in TF2 when going for a stair stab themselves. As for healing with Prey, I recommend staying above 60% oblation, as your next backstab will fill your oblation back to full. However, if you're low, it's 100% worth just spending the oblation to heal, since you can always get it back. Well, as of now, that's my comprehensive guide on how 2-time works. If I missed anything, or if you want me to make another guide for a survivor or maybe even a killer, feel free to let me know down in the comments. And if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe for more. Anyways, that's all.